Am I the asshole for bumping into a woman holding a baby in the lazy river? I was at a water park last week and my friends and I went into the lazy river. To my knowledge, I thought you were meant to lay in the tube with your belly facing up and just kinda let the water push you through the course freely. This particular lazy river has certain areas that move much faster than others, so I found it difficult to maintain control and avoid bumping into other tubes as much as I'd like. There was a woman, without any tube, just walking slowly in the lazy river holding a baby. Unfortunately, the course of the water pushed my tube right behind her. I tried to paddle myself away, but the current and other tubes now up behind me prevented me from being able to move myself. I ended up nearly right up behind her, bumping into her a couple times with my tube. She turns to me and shouts right in my face, "You're bumping into me and I'm holding a baby and I wasn't expecting it," so I panicked and apologized and said I can't control it, and started clawing at the concrete to try and stop myself, but I couldn't. I feel like I may be TA for this here, because I argued back rather than finding a solution that actually helped in that moment. I feel like a huge asshole and complete idiot. I keep replaying the events in my head. What should I have done differently? Should I have tried to get out of my tube to stop myself? I also feel like that would have bumped her more, as I'm trying to get myself out of a big tube in a crowded part of the lazy river. I can't stop thinking about this interaction. So Reddit, am I the asshole? If you are going to wade the lazy river, then it is up to you to navigate the tubes. The very nature of the tubes is that they basically self-regulate, and that's what lets you relax. It's very easy to just move people gently around as they come across you. A polite greeting and so forth, and it's all good. She doesn't get to stand in the way and challenge anyone to not hit her. That's not what this is. All I can think is, WTF was she doing there? With a baby? Not the asshole. If it's recent, or you have any question, bring it up to management of the lazy river. Anything that happened was entirely on her. That's just weird, and probably very much against the rules. Not the asshole. What in the action park heck did I just read? Why was she allowed to be standing in the lazy river? Why was a baby in the lazy river? Where the heck were the park employees? No, you do not get yourself out of your tube. You're not supposed to be out of the tube in the lazy river. You really don't have control over where you're going. You'll bump. Everyone else is supposed to tubes. Barring an accident, which the park should be prepared to respond to. Not the asshole. There is simply a lot of bumping in a lazy river, no way around it. Should I have tried to get out of my tube to stop myself? Nope. I've been on lazy rivers that require a tube or you can't be in it. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You don't stand in a lazy river, and you especially don't stand while holding a baby. They are meant to be used exactly as you said. What kind of asshole takes a baby into a lazy river and amusement park ride? She is the complete idiot, you are not. You are in a floating ring with no controls or brakes. Why doesn't she go play in the street, holding her baby, and then argue with drivers when she gets struck by a car? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. If she is that uncertain of her ability to hold a baby while being bumped, she either should not be in the river or should have a tube too, so there is a barrier between her and other tubers. Bumping is the norm in a lazy river or even a real river. Long time rafter. Not the asshole as far as the event, how it unfolded. She got what she deserved, as you were in the right how you were using the lazy river, and bumping is to be expected on the lazy river. As to how you reacted to her, you have to assess the situation quickly to see what type of person you are dealing with. If they seem like a rational, calm individual who just doesn't understand how it works, you can educate them. If they are themselves, it is best just to leave them be, as no amount of arguing is going to change their perception on how they believe they are in the right. Just move along and continue to enjoy your day and don't let it bother you. Not the asshole. You're supposed to be in a tube in the lazy river. If you are walking in it, then you need to suck up getting bumped by tubes or move faster to try to avoid them. Either way you weren't in the wrong and there was really nothing you could do about it. You were using it correctly and she wasn't, so she's at fault here. There is nothing you could do. The current and other tubes just push you sometimes, and they have a life of their own. Every experienced river person knows this. Sometimes, you get bumped. It is sheer madness to walk with a baby. It's so hard to control tubes, rafts, kayaks, canoes, and other people, even with minimal current. It's not like you aimed for her like you were river bowling or something. Not the asshole. Not the asshole walking in a lazy river, holding a baby, where people are being moved by the water without control is extremely irresponsible. She's tar. Not the asshole. You wouldn't have been the only person to have a problem trying to keep from bumping into her in that situation. She's the A for putting her baby in danger. Not the asshole. I like to be in lazy rivers without a tube most of the time. But that means I'm the most mobile person compared to people in tubes. It's my responsibility to fend for myself there. I've taken my nephew on a lazy river when he was 1, and I did not walk with him without a tube for this exact reason. We got a tube so he would be up higher and not get splashed, and so he wouldn't get bumped. That lady was out of line. Not the asshole. I love lazy rivers, and every one I've been in requires that you use a tube and that kids wear life jackets. She shouldn't have been standing in it with a baby. Not the asshole. There wasn't anything you could do about it, and you were only being honest with her. Some mothers feel some type of weird entitlement for having a baby even though millions of people have babies. In turn, they are insufferable and miserable to interact with. This was clearly an accident. She is the A. Not the asshole. You don't go in the lazy river, unless you're in a tube. The lifeguards should have yelled at her. You can't control where you go or how fast. This is as dumb as if she stood at the bottom of a water slide and was pissed the people were running into her. Go to the regular pool with your baby, you weirdo. Not the asshole. I worked at Michigan Adventure, and despite my chlorine allergy, after volunteered to trade over to work in the water park. You are not supposed to walk without a tube in the lazy river for this very reason. People with toddlers and babies are required to hold them if they do not meet the height requirement. Even so, a tube, even with someone larger inside, would not bump anyone hard enough to cause a fuss like this, especially considering this was absolutely the mother's fault. Most lazy rivers I've been in require you to be in a tube the whole time to prevent this. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You don't have total control unless your feet are on the ground in a lazy river. You are correct, that is how a lazy river operates. If anything, she's the A for carrying a baby in a lazy river where people don't have full control. She should have held it on the side of the pool or in a chair. When I went to a lazy river last year, they didn't let anyone in without a tube. So even if this one did allow it, she should know better. She was at fault. Not the asshole. You had no control. She was walking in the river with the baby. Not the asshole. She's an idiot. She should have been on an inner tube. Totally her fault. I've never been in a lazy river where they let you walk without a tube. And why would you get into water with a baby unsecured knowing there are others around you? Sounds entitled. Not the asshole. I took my 6-month-old into a lazy river, but she was in her own baby inflatable ring and I was acting as an extra guard around her in case people's rings bumped into her because it's a lazy river and that's what happens. I spent my trip around apologizing to those that bumped into me in case they felt I was in their way. That mum was out of line and totally on another planet. Edit. No one seemed bothered that I was there with a baby as I was keeping her safe and keeping out of everyone's way. Baby had a great time lol. It was her very first time in a pool. What a baptism of fire, smiley face, smiley face. Not the asshole. None of the water parks I've been to allow wading in the lazy river. They have baby pools for that. The moment the kid shits its diaper they have to shut down and clean the river.